Okay, is everybody okay?
Well, good evening. I'm Doug Kooy. Siegfried and Roy are only a more recent incarnation of a fantasy that humans have had for thousands of years, having some kind of mastery over a wild beast. Androcles befriended a lion, Romulus and Remus were raised by a she-wolf, and Samson tore a lion apart with his bare hands. The animal act has always been a staple of any circus or sideshow. So tonight at Online 2020, we'll have some fun with exotic animals. In the studio with me, professional movie stuntman, Webb. Now, you may not have noticed him as far as, looking at him because he's often dressed up in his stunt gear, but he's been in a number of different movies, Bird on a Wire, Blade 3, Walking Tall, some of the Bond movies, Zulu, to name a few. And he's been in over 100 movies. And then some of the TV things that they've done here in Vancouver, X-Files, Highlander, and many, many more. But tonight I've asked him to come on because he has worked with a number of different animals. He has worked with the big grizzly bear that has been very popular in some of the films. He's worked with lions, tigers, jaguars, snakes, alligators, to say a few. And I asked him to come in tonight, and he said he would, and he said he would also bring one of the wild animals that he's currently working with. And so we thought that'd be nice to do. Now, Robin, you're okay. This is a closed set. It is a small set, and some of our people here behind the cameras are a little concerned about having an animal of this nature in studio tonight. Is it safe to bring the animal on?
Doug, with an animal like this, there's no such thing as safe.
Now, you've worked with this animal, and you believe that he will be all right to be on the show as we go tonight.
I hope so, Doug.
Seriously?
I hope so.
Because I'm a little, some things about some animals scare me a little bit, and to be quite honest with you, this animal I'm not too comfortable with, and I know you're going to be very close to me, so.
Well, you should be scared, Doug. After these recent activities, we've had to call him Keller.
Killer.
Wasn't his name. His name was Gus. Now it's Keller.
All right. So there's Killer. You're sure he doesn't look overly active right now, Robin.
We're training him to sleep, Doug.
You've trained him to sleep. But that goes along with some of the natural reactions of an animal like that.
Betcha.
So that's Killer, the basset hound.
I don't know. We should wake him up, Doug.
Yeah. We're in trouble. You woke him up. All right. We'll be back with Killer and Webb right after this.
No, not for Christmas, but for birthdays and stuff.
No, never.
Yes, I have. I'd like to give a pet, sure, because you can play with it and someone else raises it and takes care of it.
He gave me a dog when I was little. Yeah. And we had him for 13 years, so.
No, I'm looking for one.
You're looking for a pet?
Yes.
What kind of pet?
Just a little dog. Yeah, just a small dog from my daughters, that's all. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, and I have a terrible fear of bears. I can't even tell you how bad it is. Welcome back to Online 2020. My name is Doug Kooy. That was some work that Robin Webb had put together, some of the stunts that you coordinated. That name of that bear was Brown, right?
Browd. Browdy bear.
Browdy bear.
Yeah.
All right. Robin Webb is with me tonight. Robin has been in a number of different movies, number of TV things, is an excellent stuntman, amongst other things. We've had him on the program before to do with a program called Kooy. We'll talk about that at another time. If we have some time tonight, we might touch on it. But Siegfried and Roy. Now, oh, by the way, I do appreciate you bringing in the wild animal tonight, and I know that he's very excited to be here.
Yes.
Well, Gus.
Fortunately, our first major instructions were to teach him to sleep.
Yeah.
And he's doing it really well.
And you are going to show us some tricks a little bit later on
of course,
with Gus.
Of course.
Gus is extremely,
as long as we can
as you can tell right now, he's very excited about being here.
Yeah, so long as we can clear the set, that will be fine.
Yeah, excited. You can tell that a lot of people have that same reaction to my show, actually. All right, Siegfried and Roy. Now, these people have been involved, these two gentlemen have been involved in doing animal acts and the magic acts for many, many years. I think 30, 40 years at least.
Yes.
In the Las Vegas area. There is some report out recently that it wasn't the tiger that actually mauled him. Matter of fact, I believe they are giving us another scenario as far as what happened on that particular
that Roy
day.
had a stroke or a mild heart attack, and that when he was collapsing, his tiger decided to look after him and protect him. I personally see that's a long shot, but I mean, their love and their admiration for their animals, they're just, they're world famous. They really are. They care for their animals so much.
A lot of people have a lot of concerns over the use of animals for entertainment, and I guess that would also say the use of animals in movies.
Yes.
You see the horses in movies where they appear to be shot, and the horse stumbles and falls. Now, when I watch that, I look back and say, you know, maybe the horse is not being hurt, but it certainly looks like there is the potential of harm there. How does that work?
You know, Doug, the amount of preparation going towards that one stunt that you said, which used to be the biggest one because half the movies were Westerns. The training that goes in and the preparation to drop a horse and have a horse drop is absolutely astronomical. And as you know the movie business, what you see that appears to be, you know, all happening in 30 seconds takes 3 days to prepare and 4 days to shoot. So be assured, no horses are thrown down. And at least since I've been involved in the industry, I've never ever seen an animal hurt in any way. Not hurt or harmed.
Are they, you know, there's a whole concern over the treatment of animals in the movie type of situation also. Maybe the fact that they're not being hurt, but they are being caged, or they are being held in situations that aren't really good for a wild animal, you know,
right.
Chained up for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Some people might say, for example, the grizzly bear would be chained to a certain area while they're waiting, and you know it takes a long time to put a scene together. And actors get very bored. Well, what is the animal going to be doing during that time also? Right. Are there good conditions for these animals?
Doug, I would say yes because I want to defend what's going on, but I'd say no because I would like also, you know, when Browd goes back, he spends a little time in a cage. Most of his time he spends in an acre and a half of field where he does what he wants, where he wants. He's got his pool. He's got everything that is comfortable to him. And that isn't the case when he's on a set. He's restricted back to his cage area because, you know, they get very familiar with their areas. And he loves you know, you open the door to the cage and he's there like a shot. But he also loves to work. Most of the animals that I have seen, and bear in mind, Doug, as you well know, I don't profess and I'm not an animal trainer, except for Killer here. I'm not an animal trainer. But I got involved in the business because I was writing scripts for my children's program that included animals. And like so many people, I thought that the big cats were just great big giant pussy cats and the lions were just really very tame and friendly. But when some of our friends, stunt performers and animal people saw the scripts, they looked at me and said, Robbie, you can't have children and tigers together. And I went, how come? I said, they'll eat them. You know, because unfortunately, A wild animal is
Which
exactly
is not what
that.
you want to have happen in your movie.
Not really, no.
No,
No,
it's
no.
not a good scenario.
No, it's definitely not a good scenario. No, so...
really difficult to find good child actors.
Second time.
Yeah, the second time.
Yes, yeah, the mums will have to do it the first time, but it's the second time that gets them. Yeah, no, there's a lot goes into it. When a child, each of the show that you saw that we did, Kooy, at no time were the animals and the children on the set at the same time. Obviously, the illusion is the jaguar jumped on the child. They weren't even on the same, it wasn't the same day. So obviously, you know, there are certain things that we would never do. You know, and putting children in jeopardy is certainly, or anyone in jeopardy is
Work
one.
miracles in the editing room.
Yeah, that's it.
And it is. It's sleight of hand. I mean, it is very much that way, and people need to realize that. But some of the stunts, as I said, probably the one that I think bothers people the most is the horse stumbling and falling or going down the hill, or, you know, where the guy jumps off the stagecoach and gets on the back of the horses, or that type of thing, and they see a lot of that. I want to come back. You had some... well, a couple terrifying experiences working with some animals.
Yes, a couple
that
of
is dangerous for human beings sometimes.
Yes.
So we'll come back. We have a couple stories to share with you. You're watching Online 2020. We'll be right back right after this.
Around to take care of us. But we don't. We have to take care of ourselves and each other. Oh, stand up.
Oh, I cannot believe she's walking that close to that bear. Can you? I mean, folks, I'm serious about this. I have a fear about bears. Every time I go walking in the park, Stanley Park, any park, I start thinking about bears. Welcome back to Online 2020. My name is Doug Kooy. And we have with us Robin Webb, who's worked in the movies, worked with a number of the animals. That particular animal that you saw in the clip, he's worked with quite a bit. A number of movies like Bird on a Wire. You were telling me, Robin, that some of the toughest animals to work with are chimpanzees.
Oh.
Why is that?
Chimpanzees are unequivocal. It's because they're so bright. They're so intelligent. A very quick example.
Well, it's hard to work with anything that's smarter than we are,
Well,
I mean, especially on the set.
And we were working, and they're so strong. Doing Bird on the Wire, there's a sequence where Goldie Hawn is falling down a set of rocks, and the baboon and all the chimpanzees are above. And I am below Goldie's double, and I actually have hold of her belt, so that if the chimpanzees get too close, I jerk her into an airbag that's behind us. And I'm the only one on a cable. I'm literally standing on a cable, and I've got the double hold of the belt. And when the instruction was, get them, the chimps were now to act like they were trying to get around the edge of the cliff. The female, who weighed 135 pounds,
135-pound chimp?
She weighed 135, which is not very big. She lifted the cable up with one hand, with me on it, and Goldie is standing on my shoulder. She's lifted me and the chimp, me and Goldie.
Goldie's double,
yeah. And was trying to reach down to grab hold of one of us. And of course, me being now off in the air, I didn't have the leverage to pull her into the case. So that was a very, very dangerous situation, which we had to completely restructure the way that worked, because the take was no good, so we had to redo it.
Yeah, well, you know, we're talking about Siegfried and Roy tonight. Now,
yes.
in that particular thing, they work in high-risk situations with these animals. By what I mean by high risk is they're in close proximity a lot of the time.
Anytime you're working with a tiger, particularly a tiger is probably the most likely to get excited, and their only natural defense is aggression. Wow. And most people, most trainers keep their eyes focused on the eyes of the animal, because the eyes of the animal often or not will tell whether or not it's going to get aggressive. The big cats, their pupils dilate. When that starts to dilate, most of the trainers that I have seen go cut, stop, walk away, and get the animal away. The only one that doesn't do that is the jaguar.
So that's the sign. If the tiger's eyes dilate, at that point you say, this is not a good situation.
Right. That's why they're very good to work with, because you can tell them. They're easy to read. You know, whereas unfortunately here was a situation where they felt so much trust in their cats, he must have taken his eyes off, or there was some other circumstances such as the stroke or the heart attack. We don't know that.
Interesting. Now, you work under limited conditions, but still there's been a few times where it got a little bit strange.
Oh.
You were in, the movie Bird on a Wire.
Yep.
And working with a lot of animals in that, and share the one story with us. Very scary, really.
Yeah, Bird, what had happened is 2 tigers had gone up, chasing up to the top of the ridge inside the studio. And what had happened is one had jumped to the bottom ledge, so there's 2 cats on a small thin ledge. They start to fight. They're 35 feet in the air on a concrete floor. Our biggest fear is, gosh, if they fall down, they're going to be really hurt. So I went running up one side, and some people went up the other side. I grabbed hold of the tail of the tiger, and the only weapon of any sort ever used...
Wait a second. You grabbed a hold of the tail of the tiger.
Yes.
Did you realize?
Smart.
No.
I never did get A's at school.
Okay.
So I whacked the tiger on the butt. See, it was my belief that this thin pathway would keep the tiger facing in that direction. But it's a cat. It went up the wall, came back down.
Oh no.
This tiger, you've seen the tiger a lot because it's used as Yeso tiger, and Taji, and it was looking at me eye to eye. I'm standing 6 foot and he's looking eyes to eyes with me, and I'm thinking, whoa. So I back off and I realize I come to the edge. Now we've got 2 choices. Either I struggle with the tiger or I jump to the concrete. And I'm thinking, I'll lose both ways.
Oh no.
So one of the crew down below got one of the cables and tried to push it towards me so that I would turn and could jump onto the cable. And by the time they said, okay, Robbie, now, I turned, and my first thing is I realized, oh my God, the one thing I was taught, never take your eyes off the tiger. And I'm staring at this cable, which is about 40 feet away, thinking, I can't make that. And then, of course, next thing you know, the tiger took hold of my leg and lifted me up and was shaking me just like a rag doll.
You're kidding.
No, but, you know, this particular cat had its main canines on, so it didn't. There we are.
All right. Well, I was asking for one more minute, but I'll tell you what. Before we go to break, this dog that we have here, Gus, the Basset Hound.
Killer.
Well, you call him Killer because you've had experience with him.
Yes.
But his actual name is Gus. And Gus, I gave him to you because I wanted you to train Gus, because we have not been able to train Gus to do anything.
Yes.
Now, you say that you have actually trained Gus, and I thought maybe you could show us a trick before we go to break, and we'll come back. We got some more stories.
Now, you said that we couldn't use the ring of fire and jumping from leaf to leaf.
No, not in the studio.
In the studio, okay.
No,
so what we're going to do is we're going to do the next one. We're going to have Gus stand up, spin around, and talk to us at the same time.
Oh, wonderful.
Are we ready?
All
Gus?
Right.
Okay, Gus. Up, Gus. Killer. Up. Killer. Killer. I'll get the squirrel. I frightened him with the squirrel.
Okay. I got the idea.
As I say,
we'll be right back with more stories and great tricks from Gus right after this. Welcome back to Online 2020. My name is Doug Kooy, and with me tonight is Robin Webb. Been in a number of different movies. He's a well-known stuntman here in the Vancouver area. Also been in a number of TV shows, like X-Files. It must have been fun to work on.
It was. I've worked a couple of times on X-Files. Ironically, X-Files, I was attacked by Shadow, the black jaguar, in the sequence that I did.
It's a tough job being a stuntman in a lot of ways. I know you do everything you can to keep from getting hurt, but you told me that when you were in Blade 3, you were in there with a professional wrestler.
Yep.
Who broke your ribs.
Oh, no, I broke
cracked your ribs.
I broke my ribs. He would just happen to have landed on top of me on the side.
Yeah, well, he weighs, what, 260, 70 pounds, right?
But it was completely my own accident. It wasn't his. He was awesome.
Yeah.
In fact, to be honest with you, I was shocked when he was landing on me the few times before that. I didn't even feel him. It was just the director wanted us to go a little further, and I overextended landing on the concrete, and he landed on top of me. But it wasn't, his weight wasn't the thing.
Now, here's the thing that amazes me about that and about you guys that are stuntmen. You are weird people.
Yes.
Because you had cracked your ribs, you're in a tremendous amount of pain, and the producer says we need another, what, 3 shots?
We did 3 more takes.
With cracked ribs.
Yeah, but the adrenaline is pumping, Doug. You don't feel those things. It was when they say, cut, everybody go home, then we go to the trailer and cry.
Toughest stunt that a person can do?
A burn.
The burn.
As far as I'm concerned, it's one I've never done.
Yeah.
Burns are the...
Would that be the most dangerous?
I would believe so, yes.
Yeah. How about the high falls off the...
Yes, you can't miss.
yeah, you don't want to miss.
No.
All right, and I know you do stunt schools, which is very interesting. You had a little, we're talking about animals tonight. Let's get back on that. You had a run-in with an alligator. That's the other thing that I'm definitely afraid of. I spent time in Australia. Crocodiles.
Yeah, me too. Me too. In fact, they recognized it. Bird in the Wire, Doug, was an eye-opener for me.
We got about a minute.
Because all of my friends in the business knew that I'd never worked animals before. So they get me to put the tape around the alligator, waist deep in water. They've got the alligator tied down. Mel Gibson is behind the log. I take the tape off the alligator, step back. They poke the alligator, and it spins around and snaps at the camera, which is meant to be Mr. Gibson. While I'm in the water, taping it up, I'm holding his hands tight. I'm holding his mouth when we've taken the tape off. Now, I'm very nervous. I am gripping so tight. It's a 12-foot alligator. Then all of a sudden, Mel Gibson senses, he says, okay, everybody, let's go for coffee. And everyone cleared the set. The lights went out, and I'm sitting in a pond this deep with an alligator. And I'm like, guys, this is not very funny. It was really, guy's a known prankster. It was a lot of fun.
Well, about 30 seconds left. Do one more trick. We were fooling you a while ago that, you actually have trained this dog to stunt. So get Gus to do one more trick for us since you brought him in. Real quick, we got 20 seconds.
It's a simple backflip.
Yeah, get him to
simple backflip.
Simple backflip.
Okay, and I have to do the instructions.
Okay, all right, here we go. We got 10 seconds
Okay, abracadabra.
Go.
Gus, flip. Gus, come on. This is serious. They're waiting. The director says, flip.
Okay, thank you very much, Robin. All right. Well, dogs are a man's best friend, and anybody who believes that needs to get a life and work on relationships. Dogs are great. I love my Basset Hound, but he will never be my best friend. I mean, he's cute. Look at him. But to be honest, I would like a best friend that did more than sleep 16 hours a day and run up a food bill. This may sound strange to some, but my best friend is my wife. I actually have 2 best friends. The other is Jesus Christ. He said that he would never leave me nor forsake me. Now that, my friends, is a best friend. For Online, this is Doug Kooy saying good night and God bless.